In this video, you will see how we make the scope mechanism for our 1 month game dev journey battle royale game, and also how we achieve these really cool bullet damage indicators. So let's dive right into it. So let's get right into it. We want to create something like a HUD canvas system, something like that, and then we want to have it declared in our UI manager. Therefore, I just create a new variable in the UI manager, and I think I just call this the UI. How do I call it? Screen actions. I think I call it screen actions, and maybe yeah, I have a new idea for the name. So let's call it screen actions. And yeah, to make this work, we need to also create a script for that. So the UI screen actions. That's nice. So we also want to have a new object for this. Actually, we can just copy this one and call it screen actions, and remove this script and add the new UI screen actions script to it. Nice. Okay, what do we want to have in there? In there, we want to spawn a prefab, which shows the bullet damage. So we create the text mesh pro in here, but we're making a prefab out of it. So this is damage label, the big L, like the bullies told me in the 7th grade, but that's another story. So I think test value is 20, and the font asset should be the BioCats. Okay, nice. Then we make a prefab out of it for the UI and call it damage label. And I think we can also delete this again. Nice. So we now can have some kind of action function that I make public. And I think I call this spawn damage amount label, or spawn damage label, I think is better. So what do we want to I want to know. We want to know where to spawn. I call this just hit point, and we want to say what to spawn. It's the damage. So I just call it text because it's a string now. We want to already give it encoded to this variable. So therefore we need to calculate something. So we need to calculate the spawn point from the camera main, but we do not want to use the camera main. We have a camera manager, and then we want to get the main camera from there. So we want to get the main camera and then have the world to screen point from that, and want to pass in the hit point from there. Now we have a little offset for that. And the thing is, we maybe need to check the offset where we want to position that. But I think if we say something like, okay, the offset could be, I don't know, for the x value could be something like the 1/8 of the screen width, and that's, I think, quite appropriate. So I take the screen width and divide it by 8, and the same thing for the high, and we just call it offset y for that. And I think this is kind of appropriate. I don't know if we might ever need this, because I would like to have it a bit more dynamic, because I do not want to have the spawn point every time at the same position. If we hit the same point, I want to have it a little bit random. So these offsets are for the random points. I'm sorry I didn't have told you in the first place, but this is the the reason why we need this. So we want to have from minus offset x to offset x. And then we also want to have it two-dimensional. That's why for the y, we already can get the random value of the offset y minus offset y to offset y. And now the 0 in there. Sorry for this huge misleading intro, but that's why we need the spawn point calculated in the first place. Okay, now we want to spawn our damage text, and therefore we just instantiate the damage amount label, which we made a prefab out of it in the first place. And where do we want to spawn it? In the spawn point, of course. It should be not rotated, but the parent should be this transform because we have the canvas in here. So the transform is the parent. And we're going to get the transform out of it. So this is okay. We now have to define our damage amount label. And therefore, I just create a serialized field, private game object. And there the damage amount label is good. I want to have it with a low D. Okay, what do we want to get from this? We want to get the Text Mesh Pro component from that. So maybe the better idea is to just get the Text Mesh Pro component from there. So we have the Text Mesh Pro UI from there, and just have it at the variable, and then just get the transform out of it each time. So we do not need to fetch the get component every time we spawn this thing. So we want to set the text to the text, obviously, and then it's becoming interesting because we want to create some kind of animation for that. And that's why we want to create another transform, this time called T, and then we get the transform from the damage label. So we want to pop this thing out. So the local scale of this transform should be 0 at the start, and then we want to use something like the doTween library to make it scale over time. Therefore, I just use the t.doScale function, and we want to scale it to 1. So everything has 1, 1, 1 with a vector 3, and with a duration. I want to have the duration here, so I can change this every time, how long this should go. And in previous projects, I had a 0.2, and I think this was good all over the place. So I'm pretty fine with this. And what is an ease type? The ease type is how this animation looks. If we have the out back, then it's a bit more bouncy. So it's pretty slow in the first place, but then bounces off and pops out. And I think this is a more beautiful look. So I want to get the center of where we want to move, because I think it's cooler to have the center of our hit point and then move from that center to another place out of this the center. So the animation is kind of radial to the player or the hit point we hit, and I think this will look kind of cool. We just try out, and if it's looking cool, then we have another 20 days to fix this. So let's just check it out. So we get the center of the screen. It's screen width times 2 divided by 2, I'm sorry, and the screen height divided by 2, and because it's vector 3, we have a 0 at the end. Of course, we could make a vector 2 of it, but I just go with a vector 3 to have it, yeah, everything, how do you call it? Standardized? I don't know. To make it more the same. Okay, and now we come to the animation part. We want to move to a point where we want to move. We want to have the obviously spawn point, and then we want to subtract the center from the spawn point and normalize this, because this will be the direction we yeah, go for. So we normalize that and multiply this by some randomness to just yeah, get a bit of randomness, radial randomness, where it should move. And the duration, we already know that, but we time it by 2 because it should move longer than it pops out. So then we also want to scale it, but we want to scale it back to 0. That's why we press 0 here. And then we have the delay. Oops, I said delay because we want to have this animation a bit later, so that it can delete itself if you want so, and the label gets destroyed again, and you do not see it anymore, and it should play after the pop out animation. So that's why we want to have the delay set to the current duration. The ease type is the in bag. It's the same as the out bag, but we want to have it now stick out at first and then shrink down to 0. So the in bag is the correct one that we want. So, and as I just said, when the animation is finished, then we get to do the kill of the animation. So if we have some more instance of it, it could get a bit shady and a bit buggy. So there we want to stop the animation, we want to kill this animation, and then we want to destroy the whole object, or the game object, and then we are through, I guess. And with this kind of logic, I hope so that I didn't forget anything. We can test it right away. With this kind of action, we can easily spawn the damage label and animate it with this with this part of the code, and then have a pretty cool looking pretty cool looking shooting animation. Let's try it out. So we have the UI manager here. The screen actions are there. Do we need this? Yes, we need this because we want to make a property out of it. We want to say, okay, UI screen actions, everybody can have them, but please use this property for that. Okay, and then we can just spawn the damage label. So it gets interesting when it gets to the hittables, and this is the case when we have in the player controller. Oh no, not the player controller, I'm sorry. It should be the player actions controller. Is that correct? Like weapon controller? Ah, yeah, the weapon controller. Nice. Yeah, it's when we hit something, because we want to make sure to spawn this stuff when we hit something. So the UI manager, we get the instance from that. Then we want to get the how do I call it? Screen actions. Yeah, and therefore we got the spawn damage label. And this is cool because we can just have the hit point in there, and then we can have the damage amount. What is the damage amount? The current weapon damage, and then we do not want to forget to make a string out of it. And I think that's it already. Let's see in our editor if there are any errors. I hope there are not. Nice. So we now want to drag and drop our prefab we made before into this variable slot right here. Where it is, UI There it is, the damage label. So let's see if I made any mistakes. And yeah, let's grab this scar. And now we destroyed everything. No ammo. The current slot is empty. Okay, that's another mistake. Okay, I know it from the last time. There was an error that we need to handle the switch weapon stuff. So at first, when we take a new weapon, it does not have a weapon slot in there. We might fix that later, but I already also forgot to put the screen actions script into our UI manager stuff. So this should be the case now. So this is now the first one, and let's see if this is working. And you see the damage indicator gets spawned right in here, and we do not got any ammo, but it's okay. You saw this is working. We might want to fix this, that it's looking a bit cooler, that it's not a radial view, but something like that. It's popping up and also moves a bit from the center to the top. I think would look a bit cooler than this stuff. So maybe it could be the spawn point. Yeah, this could be the spawn point plus some other stuff like new vector 3 or just super plump vector 3 dot 1, oh not 1, up, I think it is. Let's see. I think this will look a bit cooler. So I changed some variables so that we have the 32 in here, kind of static, and also added the 8 of the screen high to the target position where it should move. And now with this setup, you see we have a kind cool of animation for the bullet stuff. Nice. What we might also add is something like a scope for that, or a scope image. For that, we just want to have the UI manager instance and have it called like, let's call it just scope. And there we want to set the scope image. I think the scope image show scope could be with the weapon controller, and then we want to have the weapon scope image in here. So what we need to do for that, we need to go to our scriptables, the weapon arrow, and just have some kind of sprite here. Sprite and call it weapon scope image, that's okay. And then we might want to go back to our UI manager and have something called UI weapon scope. It's better, I think. This is the weapon scope. And then we just want it down there and just copy this, to be honest. To have it as a UI weapon scope, and this is just the weapon scope. We might need to rename the other stuff later. Where it is. Where did I had it? It's kind of a mess here. To be honest, it should be the play controller, right? Yeah, right. So this should be the weapon scope. So we just need to create a new script called the weapon scope. I just created in here. I just duplicate this, copy, and I just paste it in here. And I renamed that, calling it UI weapon scope. And also right here, UI weapon scope. That's cool. And yeah, I think I can just delete everything and copy. That's UI weapon scope. Yeah, there we go. And then I think it was the show scope, right? Yeah, that's why we create the show scope function. And also we want to have something like the height scope function. So we can easily have this toggled. So let's get right into it with the serialized field of the private image. No, it's the image from the UI package. UI. And that's the weapon scope image. And there we just say, okay, the weapon scope image, or this weapon scope image equals the weapon scope image. Or I'm sorry, I want to have set the sprite for that. And then make sure that the weapon scope image gets enabled. So we want to have the weapon scope image dot game object. I'm sorry, this game object dot set active true. And here we just want to set it to false. Right? Then we also want to create another canvas. So as you already, I think we just copy and paste this and call it, how do we call it? Yeah, weapon scope, I think, is the clearest name. And we remove this. And we want to have the weapon scope script in there and have the weapon scope image. Therefore, we create a child image, call it weapon scope image, and then just have it set to fit everything. Yeah, to make it good. So we can paste it or drag and drop it in here. And for the sniper, I think, we also would need to check if we got a weapon scope at all. Weapon scope image. But I think that's some thoughts we have to take another time, because we want to just have the sniper having a cool looking scope. So let's search our sniper model where it is. There it is. And get the weapon scope image. I think the weapon scope image I prepared for this video also need to be, as I thought, have the correct texture type. But now we can easily paste this information to our sniper, the weapon scope, and then this could be working. Oh, but we maybe want to add also the height scope functionality, because I think we didn't add this to our player controller. So yeah, as I thought, I forget that too. So we can use the height scope function and delete this parameter in here, and see if this looks good. I'm pretty sure it doesn't look good because there's no animation, no fading, no blending. So it's just a hard cut to this image. And I think it will look really, 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 really bad, to be honest. Yeah, but I think it's a way to find it out. So sniper, and let's have a look. And it does not work. Why does it not work? There's a null reference exception. Oh, did I forget anything again? That's also good possible. So we have the sniper in here. This got the weapon as all right here. And with the weapon scope right here. Weapon scope. Ah, yeah, again. That's yeah. Some normal things to happen when I'm when I'm coding some kind of new stuff. Okay, but now it should work. Yes. Honestly, it doesn't look too bad, but I'm not a big fan of it. I really would like to have some kind of, yeah, some kind of fading animation or something like that, or maybe anything else. But it's cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, I think next time we need to add some blending or something like that. We also need to fix stuff like that. Yeah, as you see, this scar does not have any scope things that we can just easily yeah, check if they are even have some image like that. But it's time for the next time, or it's part of the next time. So thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you do not want to miss any updates on this 1 month game dev challenge or on my main game, my main project Azaryia, please hit the subscribe button, and we will see us in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.